When I was a youth, I remember our history books when we dealt with Africa was only a few paragraphs about how they didn't know anything, and then our history began as slaves in the United States. So I had no idea there were any major empires, kingdoms, or cities or cultures in Africa. The image that I had as a youth was Africa was this place of, backward savages, and that if it wasn't for Europeans and Christianity, we wouldn't have had any culture or any history. It wasn't until I was in middle school where I actually learned that there was a rich history in Africa, and I started to explore that.
There we go. Boom. Let's do a little bit straighter up. Boom. Boom. There it is. More about right there. Ready? Beat. Yes. Here we go. Beat. Good. Beat.
Guild of the Silent Sword is a historical fencing group that focuses on sword play and combat from medieval West Africa. We focus primarily on the sword, but we also work on the spear and just whatever weapons and tactics that would have been used at that time. Seftekote and African swordplay is unique in that we are having to actually reconstruct it. We're actually having to look, from our position, look back, embodying what they call Sankofa, which is the idea of moving forward by acknowledging your past. So what we're having to do is learn these dances and decipher, what kind of fencing principles these dances tell us. It's physical training, but it's also what we call experimental archaeology. I started the Guild of the Silent Sword because I needed to develop a community to help push this goal forward. So by myself, I can acquire the knowledge and kind of go on, but by actually assembling a community of people, a community of practitioners, we're hoping to, like I said, awaken people's understanding about African culture, as well as provide means for these people that are within the culture, at the same time enriching us by sharing what they know.
Yeah, ready? Here we go. So I'll go outside, boom. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the inside, you step to the other side. Inside, and then you come right over, nope, over your spear. Yeah, and hit, yes. Once again.
The community of the Guild is diverse. I mean, it's architects, students, it's social workers, it's teachers, it's kids. There's many outlets for you to express yourself through this art. I'm teaching the concepts that I've learned, and I'm putting them in a format that's allowing people to develop their skills at arms. Tree and Shade makes me smile every time I say their names. Apart from driving me crazy, if it weren't for those two guys, we wouldn't be where we're at now. I mean, we've been knowing each other almost 20 years as friends and, brothers. They provide support and instruction in helping me to teach people, but also being a mentor to the new students. There's a saying that steel sharpens steel. So I wouldn't be where I'm at as a fighter and as a martial artist if I hadn't known these guys. With the creation of the Guild, we had to pretty much make our own stuff. It was an untapped market. So we, the three of us, had to physically make our own swords. We had to make our own training swords. And when we started off, we were using taped up branches to look like swords. And then eventually, we transitioned into making aluminum training swords, plastic and wood training swords for our group. And now it's an offshoot of Guild of the Silent Sword is Street Forge Armory, where we make functional cosplay props, training swords, and whatever else. Part of our mission statement is to preserve these arts, is to show that there is value in these arts, and to provide support to these communities to, help them to continue practicing so that we can be enriched by that and they can be enriched by the support. In my opinion, love and respect is like a flower. Like it starts internally, inside, and then it blossoms out. And to me, it's like it has to start that way. So because I love and respect myself, it doesn't mean that the stories of King Arthur are not influential in my life. They still are. But now, as opposed to feeling like a backseat passenger to this story, I feel like I'm sharing in the story, so I can say, oh wow, King Arthur is very similar to Sundiata. That allows me to bridge these things, and I was like, wow, I'm actually part of this larger human story. And like I said, love starts in here, self-respect starts in here, and then spreads out, and it's easier to love yourself when you spend some time cultivating that flower.